Ladies and gentlemen, we were not born to merely exist. We were created to succeed, but success is not a mystery. It is the result of obedience to principles. Just as there are laws that govern the universe, there are also commandments that govern success. And if you violate these commandments, your potential is compromised. But if you obey them, success becomes inevitable. Nothing is more tragic than a life lived without purpose. Purpose is the foundation upon which all success is built. It is the original intent in the mind of the Creator when He designed you. Every product, before it is released to the marketplace, is first imagined, designed, and given a purpose. So too is every human being. You are not born by accident or chance. You are not here to simply exist, to drift through time without direction. You are here because there is something only you can do, something only you can contribute. Success, then, begins not with activity but with discovery, the discovery of purpose. Purpose answers the question, why am I here? Without that answer, life becomes a string of random events. You find yourself moving but not progressing, achieving but never fulfilling, busy but empty. The tragedy is not that people die. It is that many people never truly live. They never tap into their reason for being. They live by imitation rather than intention. They follow trends instead of truth. They chase money, titles, and applause, but still feel hollow because what they are doing is disconnected from who they truly are. Purpose brings alignment between your design and your direction. When you don't know the purpose of a thing, you will inevitably abuse it. That's not just true for objects, it's true for life. Abuse is simply abnormal using something in a way it was never designed to function. Many people are abusing their lives not intentionally, but because they don't know why they were created. They take jobs they hate, settle into routines that numb them, and tolerate environments that drain them. And over time, they call that life. But the moment you discover purpose, everything changes. Your choices become intentional. Your goals become clear, your energy becomes focused. You stop asking for permission to be great because you now understand that your greatness is not arrogance. It's obedience to your design. You must understand your purpose is not something you invent. It is something you uncover. It is already within you. Just like a seed has a tree within it, you have destiny within you. The Creator hid your future in your present. Your gifts, your passions, your burdens, and your natural inclinations are clues to your assignment. That's why comparison is a trap. When you compare yourself to others, you lose sight of the blueprint written inside you. Success does not come from doing what others are doing. It comes from doing what you were born to do. When you live without purpose, you become susceptible to distractions. You say yes to everything because you don't know what to say no to. But when you find purpose, it becomes a filter. It tells you where to go, who to connect with, what to study, what to avoid. It gives meaning to your pain and direction to your progress. Even your failures begin to make sense. They are simply redirections toward your purpose. You become more resilient because you're no longer driven by applause. You're driven by assignment. Purpose is powerful because it gives you identity. It tells you who you are and, just as importantly, who you are not. Too many people are walking around with labels placed on them by culture, by family, or by past experiences. But labels don't define you. Purpose does. The more you understand why you exist, the less dependent you become on external validation. You stop living for approval and start living on assignment. The most successful people in history were not the ones who had the most resources, but the ones who had the most clarity. They understood what they were here to do and committed themselves to it, even when others didn't understand. Purpose gives you the strength to endure seasons of obscurity because you know you're on a mission. Where there is no vision, people perish, not because they lack resources, education, or opportunity, but because they lack direction. Vision is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is the ability to see beyond your current reality and grasp the future that already exists in potential. Without vision, you drift. You become reactive instead of proactive, scattered instead of focused. Life, without vision, becomes a series of distractions disguised as decisions. But when you carry vision, you become a person of intention. You don't just move, you move with purpose, precision, and power. Vision begins in the unseen. It is born not from what is, but from what could be. It comes from within, not from around. Visionaries do not live by what they see. They live by what they believe. They are governed by conviction, not by circumstance. This is why vision is not the same as ambition. Ambition is about climbing higher. Vision is about seeing further. Ambition may chase titles and achievements, but vision pursues destiny. Vision always starts with an inner picture, a mental snapshot of a preferred future that demands to be fulfilled. You do not stumble into vision, you cultivate it. It requires quietness, reflection, listening, and alignment. Vision is not the product of busyness, but of clarity. It grows in environments where stillness is practiced, where questions are asked, and where purpose is sought. You must be willing to step back from the noise of the world in order to hear the whisper of destiny within. When you catch that glimpse of what your life is supposed to look like, it fuels everything. Vision becomes the internal compass that guides your decisions, filters your relationships, and structures your priorities. Without vision, you waste time. You give your energy to things that are good but not right. Not every open door is an assignment, and not every opportunity is your responsibility. Vision gives you permission to be selective. It helps you to say no with confidence because you are saying yes to something greater. It keeps you from being pulled in 1,000 directions by other people's expectations or urgent but unimportant tasks. The clearer your vision, the more disciplined your life becomes. Vision eliminates confusion because it reveals destination. When you have vision, obstacles no longer discourage you, they develop you. You recognize that the path to your future is not always smooth, but it is always worth it. You stop quitting every time things get hard because you are no longer driven by comfort, you are driven by calling. Vision creates endurance. It gives pain a purpose and failure a frame. Setbacks don't stop vision, they sharpen it. Delays don't cancel vision, they prepare you for it. Visionaries are never victims of their environment because they know that the future is not something you wait for. It's something you walk toward. Vision also brings alignment between who you are and what you do. Many people suffer from the frustration of doing work that pays the bills but doesn't feed the soul. When your life lacks vision, you confuse motion with meaning. You stay busy but never feel fulfilled. Vision reconnects you to your why. It breathes life into your routines and adds fire to your efforts. Vision makes you more than a worker. It makes you a builder. You are no longer just clocking in and out. You are constructing something eternal, something that will outlive you. Another critical truth about vision is that it must be written, refined, and revisited. What you do not document, you will forget. A vague vision produces vague results. When you write it down, you create a reference point that keeps you grounded. You remind yourself of what matters, especially when life tries to pull you off course. Vision is not a one-time revelation, it is a lifelong unfolding. It evolves as you grow, but its essence remains the same. Your responsibility is to stay committed to it, to protect it from distraction, and to pursue it with everything you have. Time is the most precious resource you will ever possess. It is more valuable than money, more powerful than talent, and more limited than opportunity. Once it is spent, it can never be regained. Every person on earth, regardless of background, education, or status, is given the same 24 hours in a day. What separates those who succeed from those who struggle is not the amount of time they have, but how they use it. Time is the currency of purpose, and every second you spend is either an investment into your destiny or a withdrawal from your potential. Many people believe they are waiting on life, waiting on opportunity, waiting on doors to open or resources to appear. But in reality, life is waiting on them to prioritize their time according to their vision. Time is not something you manage passively, it is something you must steward intentionally. If you don't tell time what to do, it will be wasted by default. People who fail to manage their time usually end up serving the priorities of others, living in reaction rather than design. They spend their days putting out fires instead of building a future. The way you spend your time is a mirror of what you truly value. You can say that something matters to you, but your calendar reveals the truth. If you say your purpose is important, but your time is consumed by distractions, entertainment, and procrastination, then purpose is only a theory, not a commitment. Time prioritization demands that you examine your activities through the lens of destiny. Are your hours building your future or delaying it? Are your routines moving you toward your vision or simply maintaining your comfort? Time is the womb of productivity. Every great invention, book, business, or breakthrough was born from someone's disciplined use of time. Consistency over time is more powerful than bursts of effort. Small actions, repeated faithfully, create massive results. The people you admire, the leaders who influence the world, the innovators who shape history, they all became who they are through the quiet, relentless, daily use of their time. There is no shortcut to significance. You don't stumble into greatness, you schedule it. You set your intentions, guard your calendar, and protect your moments like treasure. One of the greatest threats to the wise use of time is distraction. In a world filled with notifications, noise, and endless options, the ability to focus has become a rare skill. But without focus, your time is divided, your energy is diluted, and your results are diminished. You must learn to say no to things that are good so you can say yes to things that are essential. Every yes to something trivial is a no to something transformational. Time doesn't ask for permission. It moves forward with or without your cooperation. If you don't harness it, it will carry you away from purpose rather than toward it. Another enemy of time is procrastination. The false belief that you can do it later robs you of what could be accomplished now. Procrastination is the arrogance that assumes you will have another chance, another season, another opportunity. But destiny is not delayed for those who are passive. It favors those who move, who act, who execute. Execution is the bridge between intention and fulfillment. It turns dreams into plans and plans into progress. If you want to change your life, you must change how you spend your time. There is also a strategic side to managing time that includes rest, reflection, and recovery. Managing time is not about working endlessly. It is about working wisely. You must create space to recharge, to review your goals, and to listen for divine direction. Rest is not a waste of time. It is an investment in longevity. When you are rested, you are more creative, more focused, and more effective. Time management, therefore, is not just about doing more, it's about doing what matters most, with clarity, consistency, and commitment. Discipline is the foundation upon which every form of lasting success is built. It is the silent force behind great achievements, the invisible scaffolding that supports vision, talent, and purpose. Without discipline, even the most gifted individuals fail to realize their potential. Talent may get you noticed, but discipline is what keeps you relevant. It is the ability to govern yourself, to impose structure on your own actions, and to follow through on what must be done, regardless of how you feel. Discipline is not about punishment, it is about alignment. It is about aligning your behavior with your goals, your decisions with your destiny. Every person who has made a lasting impact in any field has done so not just because of what they knew or what they could do, but because of what they were willing to do consistently. Success is not the result of occasional inspiration, but of sustained discipline. Discipline shows up when motivation disappears. It is what you lean on when the excitement is gone, when the obstacles appear, and when the results are not yet visible. People who succeed are not those who never feel like quitting. They are those who continue even when quitting feels easier. They do not live by feelings. They live by principles. Discipline creates habits, and habits shape your life. What you do repeatedly becomes who you are. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And discipline is the system that turns potential into progress. It is the bridge between dreams and reality. Everyone wants success, but not everyone is willing to endure the process required to attain it. Discipline is the process. It is waking up early when you would rather sleep, studying when others are relaxing, investing when others are consuming, practicing when no one is watching. True discipline begins with self-awareness. You cannot master what you do not understand. You must know your distractions, your weaknesses, your patterns, and your excuses. Discipline requires that you confront yourself honestly and make intentional choices that move you closer to your vision. It demands boundaries. It demands that you say no, not just to others, but to your own impulses. The disciplined person is not controlled by their environment. They are controlled by their internal standards. They do not wait to be held accountable. They hold themselves accountable. Discipline is also connected to time. It respects the clock. It understands the value of the moment. Disciplined people don't waste time because they understand that time is life. Every minute spent in laziness or indecision is a minute stolen from purpose. They plan their day, they schedule their priorities, they live with urgency, not anxiety, because they know that destiny is not automatic. It is intentional. They understand that excellence is not a mood but a mindset, and discipline is the pathway to that excellence. In relationships, discipline shows up as consistency and integrity. It means keeping your word even when it's inconvenient. It means staying committed when emotions fluctuate. It means showing up fully, not just when it's easy, but when it's necessary. In finances, discipline means living within your means, saving before spending, and investing for the future rather than consuming for the moment. In health, discipline means choosing nutrition over cravings, movement over stagnation, and rest over exhaustion. Every area of life is either strengthened or weakened by the presence or absence of discipline. Discipline is not glamorous. It is often mundane. It is doing the right thing when no one sees, applauds, or rewards you. But over time it produces fruit. It builds character, sharpens focus, and breeds excellence. The most disciplined people are not driven by fear of failure, but by a commitment to purpose. They understand that success is not something you stumble in. It is something you build daily, one disciplined decision at a time. One focused hour at a time, one repeated habit at a time. Discipline, then, is not just a tool for success. It is the very engine that powers it. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It is not mere belief or wishful thinking. It is the unshakable conviction that what has been spoken over your life will come to pass, even when every natural circumstance says otherwise. Faith is the currency of destiny. It is the bridge between where you are and where you are called to be. Without faith, progress is impossible, because faith is what allows you to move before the facts support you, to act before the evidence appears, to begin even when the end is not in sight. Faith sees through the eyes of purpose, not through the limitations of reality. People who walk in faith are not governed by what they see. They are governed by what they know deep within. They are not intimidated by closed doors because they understand that vision comes before provision. Faith gives you the audacity to step into unknown territory, to speak boldly when silence is safer, to act courageously when fear whispers that it's too risky. Faith is not ignorance of reality, it is confidence in a higher reality. It is knowing that the visible world is subject to the invisible word spoken over your life. Faith is the refusal to be defined by your current situation. It declares that your present condition is not your final destination. You may be overlooked now, but faith tells you that you are still chosen. You may be under-resourced now, but faith says you are still equipped. You may feel unqualified now, but faith reminds you that the call came before your preparation. Faith is not looking for comfort, it is looking for confirmation, and confirmation often comes not before you move, but after you step out. Faith requires action, it is not passive, it is not static. Faith without works is dead. To walk in faith is to move forward even when the ground beneath you is uncertain. The power of faith lies in its ability to reframe your mindset. It teaches you to speak differently, to think differently, to expect differently. Faith is the voice that says, "I will rise," when circumstances tell you to quit. It is the mindset that sees setbacks as setups and delays as divine preparation. Faith elevates your conversation. You begin to speak not of problems but of promises, not of obstacles but of opportunities. You stop complaining and start commanding. You stop fearing and start declaring. Faith is vocal. It speaks what is not as though it already is. To live by faith is to live beyond limitations. It is to believe that there is always more. More within you, more ahead of you, more destined for you. Faith expands your capacity, it stretches your thinking and enlarges your expectation. People of faith are never satisfied with mediocrity because they understand that greatness is not only possible but required. Faith does not settle, it pursues. It keeps you moving when everything in your life says stop. It gives you endurance for the journey, stamina for the struggle, and hope in the dry places. Faith keeps your eyes fixed forward when the past tries to pull you back. Faith also transforms how you respond to failure. It turns losses into lessons and wounds into wisdom. Faith teaches you that failure is not final unless you stop believing. It is through faith that you recover, rebuild, and rise again. The greatest successes are often born out of moments when nothing made sense except the inner voice that said, "Keep going." That voice is faith. It anchors your soul. It stabilizes your emotions. It secures your vision. And though the storms of life may rage, faith gives you the ability to stand firm, unmoved, and undeterred. Faith is not just spiritual. It is strategic. It is applied in how you lead, how you build, how you think, how you respond. It governs your choices, fuels your creativity, and sharpens your discernment. Faith makes you aware of what cannot be seen but must be obeyed. It is the inner fire that keeps you walking in dark seasons, trusting that light is ahead. It teaches you to sow even when the soil looks barren, to prepare even when you see no opportunity, and to lead even when no one is following yet. Integrity is the foundation that sustains every form of true success. It is not simply about being honest when others are watching. It is about being consistent in character when no one is. Integrity is the alignment between your values, your words, and your actions. It is who you are when pressure rises, when options are tempting, and when compromise seems more convenient than conviction. Without integrity, talent becomes dangerous, success becomes hollow, and influence becomes unstable. You can rise quickly through skill, charisma, or opportunity, but only integrity will keep you there. People often confuse image with integrity. Image is what people see, integrity is what you truly are. Image is about reputation, integrity is about reality. You can impress people temporarily with your performance, but you impact people permanently with your integrity. Success without integrity is a setup for eventual collapse. It may look solid from the outside, but the moment difficulty comes or scrutiny arrives, the foundation crumbles. Integrity is what gives your success longevity and your life credibility. It makes your voice trustworthy, your leadership dependable, and your relationships authentic. Integrity demands wholeness. The word itself comes from the idea of being undivided. It means that you are not one person in private and another in public. It means that your commitments are not flexible depending on who you're with or what benefits you in the moment. Integrity will cost you sometimes. It will cost you opportunities, promotions, or popularity. But what you gain in peace, stability, and inner strength is far more valuable. People with integrity sleep well. They don't have to remember lies, juggle masks, or fear exposure. Their strength comes not from perfection but from consistency. In business, integrity establishes trust, and trust is the currency of leadership. Clients, teams, and partners do not commit to products. They commit to people, and people follow those they trust. One act of dishonesty can destroy years of credibility, But a life of integrity creates a reputation that opens doors and attracts respect. You do not have to manipulate outcomes when your character speaks louder than your ambition. Integrity allows you to lead with authenticity and authority. It removes the need to pretend or perform because who you are is already enough. In relationships, integrity is the glue that holds things together. It shows up in how you keep your word, how you honor your promises, and how you handle truth. It means you do not speak differently about people when they are absent than when they are present. It means you choose honesty even when it's uncomfortable, transparency even when it's risky. Integrity builds intimacy because it fosters safety. People feel secure around those who are consistent, accountable, and genuine. Trust is not built through charm, it is built through integrity. Integrity also protects your purpose. There will be moments when shortcuts appear more profitable, when deceit seems easier, and when hiding feels safer. But every time you choose to compromise, you diminish your own authority. You may gain something externally, but lose something internally, and what you lose on the inside is far more costly. Your peace of mind, your sense of direction, your connection to your calling, all of it depends on living from a place of truth. You cannot walk in power while hiding in deception. You cannot lead others when you are lying to yourself. To live with integrity requires courage. It is not easy to be consistent in a culture of compromise. It is not popular to be honest when deception is rewarded. But those who choose integrity choose a higher road. They choose to build their lives on rock, not sand. They understand that storms will come, and when they do, what's hidden will be tested. The fruit of integrity is not always immediate, but it is always enduring. It shows up in your legacy, your influence, and your peace. It turns your life into a message, your actions into a standard, and your presence into a testimony of what it means to live with honor. As we reflect on these essential commandments, vision, time management, discipline, faith, and integrity, we begin to see that success is not a matter of chance or circumstance, but a deliberate pursuit. It is the daily commitment to aligning your actions with your purpose, the relentless stewardship of every moment, and the unwavering belief in what is yet unseen. Success is not just about reaching a destination. It is about becoming the person equipped to walk in the fullness of your calling. When vision guides you, time disciplines you, faith fuels you, and integrity anchors you, you create a foundation that no obstacle can shake. Remember, greatness is not accidental. It is intentional. It is crafted by those who dare to live with purpose, persevere through challenges, and uphold the principles that lead to true and lasting achievement. Your journey towards success begins today with the choices you make and the commitments you keep.